Hey guys, what's up? I am back. So, if you're new, my name's Steph. I have bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features and mixed episodes. I lived the majority of my life undiagnosed, not on medication, and suffered dire consequences because of that. So now I advocate to take medication. I tell you guys my story and the risk of not taking medication. And I do this to connect with you guys, help me feel less alone, and try to help you guys feel less alone. So if anything ever strikes a chord with you on the channel, please comment below and subscribe. So I am a part of Reddit, and I've done this before in another video, and it seemed to go okay. So I often ask Reddit for answers. There's a community on Reddit, a thread called Bipolar Disorder, and you can converse with other people. It's kind of like, I don't know, like a Facebook group, right? So one of the things with bipolar disorder is that we are really it doesn't just go that we're blamed for our actions that take place when we're in a psychotic episode or mania. And I'm speaking from a bipolar type 1 perspective. There are people who have bipolar disorder type 2 who experience a lot of anger and rage and things like that. And that is part of bipolar disorder as well. And, you know, I've experienced that as well. So these symptoms, we're often blamed for our symptoms. And when we are being responsible, even when we're taking medication, we're blamed for our symptoms. And I'm not saying by everybody, but there's a general perception is that all they need to do is take their medication. They're being irresponsible and not taking their medication. And this perception comes from people not knowing, one, how dangerous it is to be misdiagnosed and what happens so many times. And they don't know how difficult it is to get diagnosed. They do not know about side effects. They don't know any of these things. So I wanted to know, because in my second psychotic episode, the reason that occurred was because I was put on an antidepressant. And when you have bipolar disorder type 1 and you take an SSRI without an antipsychotic, you are most surely going to end up in full-blown mania, psychosis, delusional, and all of that. So I don't know if I said this already. I asked Reddit, have you ever been misdiagnosed? And if so, were you ever, what was the question? I was misdiagnosed, and I know now I have bipolar 1 with psychotic features. I was wondering if anyone else here was misdiagnosed, and if so, have you had a negative response to any medication based on the misdiagnosis? Because so often we are either misdosed with like depression and given something that makes us even worse, or misdiagnosed with anxiety and then have a full-blown psychotic episode. It's not that we're not trying. And also we have that big symptom of anosognosia, which means we don't know we're sick. Like, if I say I'm delusional and I think that, you know, I work for the CIA, which is my reoccurring delusion, it will never go away. It's always there. Where was I going with this? If I'm delusional like that and I'm believing it, now when I'm on meds and I'm lucid, I know that's a delusion. But when I'm in psychosis, that's not a delusion. It's real. So luckily we have medication, so I take it and I'm able to manage these thoughts in my head and say, hey, Steph, that's a delusion. That's not real. That's because of your bipolar disorder. That's why you're thinking this way. So anyway, so I asked in this community and I got 64 comments and a lot of responses to those comments. So, and some of these responses were really like, some were just heartbreaking. So I just want to share them with you guys. So this person, major depressive disorder and ADHD, that's what they were misdiagnosed with. SSRIs and stimulants sent me to outer space. I had a 6-month-long manic episode where I was sure I was going to be the next HGTV star by making found art out of branches I cut off my cherry tree at 3 a.m. I now have bipolar 2 with mixed features. So that's an example of somebody who went to the doctor, was diagnosed, given medication, and got really sick. And then this happens too on Reddit. Sometimes people, because of our illness and because some people do experience mania, and they only know, not mania, hypomania. They only know hypomania and depression. They don't know what is normal, what's supposed to be normal, because they've cycled so much through that in a depression, out in and out, that they'll go on medication and start to feel like something that's like normal, and they don't really understand, because they're not bouncing off the walls and have all this energy, but they're also not trying to kill themselves. I've seen a lot of people say that later in life they realized that happy was something different than what they felt in hypomania, but I think it takes a while to get there. So this one says, same plus OCD. I told my doctor I once wrote a nearly 200,000. Oh, so that was my point. Sometimes people talk about the hypomania and they'll delete a comment for romanticizing hypomania. The moderator, because there's a moderator. So this one says he once wrote a 200,000 word novel in 7 months, anywhere from 2 to 12 hours a day, waking up early to get him completely and utterly obsessed with writing. And this person said that ADD won't allow them to do that, that it's bipolar, because they were, this says OCD, but then maybe they meant OCD or something. But anyway, they said they're bipolar 1, and the medications really started to level out, and they're finding themselves doing it again, this time without neglecting the entire rest of their life. So they're doing better on meds. Shocking. So this is really sad, this one. Okay, so this person said, remember the question is, have you ever been misdiagnosed? Yes. Histrionic personality disorder. I was having a manic episode, and the stupid school psychologist said I was faking it for attention. I mean, would that make you want to tell someone how you're feeling after that? And then there's a long one here. I was first diagnosed with major depressive disorder at 13, which I think was accurate. Mid-20s, went to the psych ward and got diagnosed with bipolar type 2. Psychiatrist there asked me if I've ever done anything impulsive. I lied and told him no, because I didn't want to stay in that place any longer than I had a week. When I got my care team after being released, I started opening up to them, and they gave me the correct diagnosis of bipolar 1. I was manic, and that's how I ended up in the psychiatric hospital. Since then, 2 psychiatrists diagnosed me with bipolar 1. I was extremely impulsive and out of control before I got medicated. I still have manic episodes, break through my medication every now and then. I really wanted to talk about this comment because so many of us probably do this. We get hospitalized involuntarily. We're told we can't leave. And even when I agreed that I had something wrong with me, I still was calling my husband every day, bitching him out that I was in the hospital. And sometimes we feel embarrassed to talk about our symptoms. Like my whole CIA delusion. When I am out, and if I have a delusion like this and I start paying attention to the people around me, I don't share that. I don't share that with my husband. I just deal with it and try to like push it away. But when we don't talk about our symptoms, then because of embarrassment or fear or wanting to get out of the hospital, then we end up making things even worse for ourselves. But even in that case, it's not that it's not their fault, they've been dealing with like a severe mental illness since 13. Anyways, this is my episode's breakthrough as well. I'm sure you'll be able to tell by my latest actual post. Oh, it's a post group. They're pretty intense, but far shorter than they have been previously, so I'm grateful for that little bit of help. Meds will save your life. Take your medication. Trust me, I've had the worst experiences of my life on medication, but I've had the worst experiences of my life off medication. So I take it now. So this person was misdiagnosed at 10, diagnosed with major depressive disorder. A lot of people were misdiagnosed with major depressive disorder. They were given Prozac. It was fairly new, so there was no warning about child suicide. They said suicidality. I think they meant suicide. Like there is now. I became suicidal from my first ever med. Thankfully, I didn't have that problem with other antidepressants. Ironically, I got back on Prozac as an adult, and it really helped. That is like the perfect example of they almost died taking their medication. But then this person is back on medication, the same medication, and they're doing amazing. So yeah, so it says, when I was a teen, I became hypomanic from Zoloft. That's not the first time I've heard that. It lasted a long time, but no one saw the signs. Everyone just thought I was happy. I wasn't diagnosed until I was 19 after I had a manic episode. If I had been properly diagnosed sooner, I'm 99.9% sure my life would have been a bit better today. So I try not to do that. Think about what my life would have been like if I wasn't bipolar. And the reason why is because the only way to get through life is to be grateful and have gratitude for each and every day, because that's all you have. So, yeah, it would be nice to not have bipolar disorder, but you know, maybe this is who I'm supposed to be at this spot, right? So this says, yes, I was misdiagnosed, major depressive disorder, anxiety first. I have type 2, so I think it was lack of mania at my age. I was 14 when I told my doctor about my mental health. Being on an SSRI by itself, antidepressant, went really bad. I was hospitalized at 18 and received the correct diagnosis there. It's like, should we just give everyone antidepressants and then filter out who's bipolar? This is a huge thing. This person left a lot of information. Things psychologists confuse bipolar with. Borderline personality disorder. This is huge. They always misdiagnose borderline personality disorder and bipolar because they're so similar in their symptoms. They're saying the trick is diet, behavior changes, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know. So yeah, so borderline personality is a big one. And depression, obviously, because I was misdiagnosed with depression. That was one of them too. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, originally diagnosed with just depression, and my bipolar 1 symptoms were teenage hormones. While I understand that it's hard to diagnose a minor with bipolar, my episode should have been a telltale sign of something was off. I wonder why SSRIs and Wellbutrin didn't work. They're being sarcastic, of course. Yes, depression was taking daily doses of antidepressants, which made me go into hypomania and mixed episodes on and off for months. Screwed me up pretty bad. So, I mean, I'm only on like 10 of however many comments. I could go on all day. If you really want to know what someone with bipolar disorder is going through, or what they may be experiencing, or you just want to know just because you want to know, or if you just want to know because you have a loved one and you want to be there for them, go into a Facebook friend group for bipolar. I don't have Facebook anymore. Or go on Reddit or go on Instagram and find some accounts. People are really forthcoming with what they go through nowadays, which is really cool because I went through it by myself for a long time, and I know a lot of other people did because you guys have told me. So yeah, have you been misdiagnosed with anything? Did it send you into psychosis? Yeah, also, if you're still here, I keep forgetting to do a shout out to another channel. I put a post about it today, which this won't be posted today, but I put a post about it. But anyways, there's another channel that I feel confident sending you guys to if you want another additional resource or to hear someone else's story, and it's Jess at Our Bipolar, O-U-R, another word, bipolar. So yeah, so I also found a really cool channel. This guy, he doesn't vlog anymore, but I found his psychosis story, his hospitalization story, really helpful. He's really genuine. His name is his channel is I'm Phil's Bipolar, so you can check that out if you're interested. I found these channels for the documentary that I'm working on. That's probably going to take like 100 years, but anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Check in now and then, and have a great day. Take your meds. Bye.